room of the Condamines house in Kent. When the curtain rises, it is about 8 o'clock on a summer evening.
That's right, Edith.
Yes'm.
You better fetch the ice bucket.
Yes'm.
But you did fill. You got the ice out of the little tin trays.
Yes'm. I had a bit of struggle though, but it's all right.
And then you filled the little trays up with water again.
Yes'm.
Madam Arcati, the Bradmans will be arriving soon. Be sure to announce them. Is that quite clear?
Yes'm.
Now you fetch the ice.
Yes'm.
You're making giant strides, Edith.
Yes'm.
Not at a run, Edith. Charles, is that you? Charles?
Ah, no sign of the advancing hordes?
Oh, not yet.
No ice.
It's coming. I'm trying to get Edith to be not quite so fleet of foot. You mustn't mind if she's a little slow motion tonight.
To try martini, I think, don't you?
Oh, yes, darling. I expect Madame Arcati will want something sweeter.
We'll have this one for ourselves anyway.
Oh, dear.
What's the matter?
I have a feeling that this evening is going to be awful.
Oh, it'll probably be funny, but not awful.
You must promise not to catch my eye. If I giggle, and I'm very likely to, it'll spoil everything.
You must be dead serious, and a little intense if possible. We can't hurt the old girl's feelings after all, no matter how funny she is.
But why the Bradmans, darling? He's as skeptical as we are. He'll probably say the most awful things.
Oh, I warned him. There had to be at least 3 people. It had to be the Bradmans. Here, try this.
Oh, lovely. Dry as a bone.
If this evening's a success, I shall start on the final draft tomorrow.
I think this is just a wonderful title. How extraordinary it is.
What?
Oh, being in right at the beginning of something. It gives one an odd feeling.
Cheers to the unseen.
To the unseen. Used Elvira to be a help to you? When you were thinking something out, I mean.
Oh, every now and then, when she concentrated. But she didn't concentrate very often.
Oh, I do wish I'd known her.
I wonder if you'd have liked her.
I'm sure I should. As you talk of her, she sounds enchanting. Yes, I'm sure I should have liked her. Because, you know, for one moment, not one tiny moment, have I felt the least bit jealous of her. That's a good sign.
Poor Elvira.
Does it still hurt when you think of her?
No, not really. In fact, I rather wish it did. I feel rather guilty.
I wonder if I died before you'd grown tired of me, if you'd forget me quite so soon.
Well, what a horrible thing to say. Well, to begin with, I haven't forgotten Elvira. I remember her very distinctly. I remember how fascinating she was, and how maddening. I also remember how morally untidy she was.
Was she more physically attractive than I?
Oh, that's a very tiresome question, dear, and thoroughly deserves the wrong answer.
Oh, you really are very sweet.
Oh, thank you.
I really feel quite nervous. As though I were going to make a speech.
Fragments!
Charles!
We saw her bicycling.
Seats.
Oh, George, you sit here. I'll sit here.
Yes, dear.
Martinis, anyone?
Double, please.
I think my bicycle up against that little bush. It will be perfectly all right if no one touches it.
Madam Arcadi.
How nice of you to come all this way.
My dear Madame Arcadi.
I'm afraid I'm rather late, but I had a sudden presentiment that I was going to have a puncture, so I went back to fetch my pump. And then, of course, I didn't have a puncture at all.
Perhaps you will on the way home.
Dr. Bradman, the man with the gentle hand.
I'm delighted to see you looking so well. This is my wife.
We are old friends. We meet coming out of shops.
Would you like a cocktail?
If it's a dry martini, yes. If it's a concoction, no. Experience has taught me to be very wary of concoctions.
Oh, it's a dry martini.
How delicious. It was wonderful cycling through the woods this evening. I was deafened with bird song.
Oh, it's been lovely all day.
But the evening's the time, mark my words. Thank you. Cheers. Cheers.
Don't you find it rather tiring bicycling everywhere?
On the contrary, it stimulates me.
I must say, I find bicycling quite exhausting.
Steady rhythm, that's what counts. Once you get the knack of it, you need never look back. On you get and away you go.
Oh, but the hills, Madame Arcadi. Pushing up those awful hills.
Just knack again. Down with your head, up with your heart, and you're over the top like a flash and skimming down the other side like a dragonfly. This is the best dry martini I've had for years.
Have another?
Certainly. You're a very clever man. Anybody can write books, but it takes an artist to make a dry martini that's dry enough.
Are you writing anything nowadays, Madame Arcadi?
Every morning, 7 till 1, like clockwork.
Is it a novel or a memoir?
It's a children's book. The hero is a Morse beetle. I had to give up writing my memoir, Princess Pagliatani, because she died in April. I talked to her about it the other day, and she begged me to go on with it, but I really hadn't the heart.
You talked to her about it the other day?
Yes, through my control, of course. She sounded very irritable.
It's funny to think of people in the spirit world as being irritable, isn't it? I mean, one can hardly imagine it, can one?
What do elementals do?
Oh, my dear, one can never tell. They're dreadfully unpredictable. Usually they take the form of a very cold wind.
Ooh, I don't think I shall like that.
Occasionally reaching almost hurricane velocity. Mrs. Condamine, I assure you I have my own way of dealing with elementals.
I'm so glad.
Now then, I'm ready to enter your minds.
Do you mean we're to try to think of nothing?
Absolutely nothing, Dr. Bradman. Concentrate on a space or a nondescript color. That's really the best way.
I'll do my damnedest.
Good work. I will now stop the music. I'll be loving you always, with a love that's true always. Lights!
The lights dim.
Oh dear! Quiet, please. Is there anyone there? Is there anyone there? 1 rap for yes, 2 raps for no. Now then, is there anyone there? Oh! Shh. Is that you, Daphne? Is your cold better, dear? Oh, I'm so sorry. Are you doing anything for it? I'm afraid she's rather fretful. Is there anyone there who wishes to speak to anyone here? Ah, now we're getting somewhere. No, Daphne, don't do that. Oh dear. You're hurting me, Daphne, dear, please. Oh! Be good. There's a dear child. You say there's someone there who wishes to speak to someone here? Is it me? Is it Dr. Bradman? Is it Mrs. Bradman? Is it Mrs. Condamine? Stop it, behave yourself! Is it Mr. Condamine? There's someone who wishes to speak to you, Mr. Condamine.
Tell them to leave a message.
I really must ask you not to be so flippant, Mr. Condamine.
Charles, how can you be so idiotic? You'll spoil everything.
I'm sorry, it slipped out.
Do you know anybody whose passed over recently?
Not recently.
Can't you think of anyone? Rack your brains.
It might be old Mrs. Plummet. Remember she died on Whit Monday?
I can't imagine why old Mrs. Plummet would wish to talk to me.
Well, it's worth a try anyway.
Are you old Mrs. Plummet? There's nobody there at all.
Oh, how disappointing. Just as we were getting on so nicely.
Violet, be quiet.
Well, I'm afraid there's nothing for it but for me to go into a trance. Excuse me a moment while I begin the music again.
Not always. Don't play it always.
What even now, Charles? Don't be absurd.
With love is true always, when the fleeting cloud
I'm afraid I must work with the music, but it would be imprudent to change horses in midstream, if you know what I mean.
Oh, have it your way.
Little Tommy Tucker sang for his supper.
That would be Daphne.
Woo! Woo!
She would have had her adenoids out.
George, please.
Good God!
Press down hard.
Stop! It's trying to get away. I can't hold it. Ought we to pick it up or leave it where it is? Leave it where it is.
Who said that?
Who said what?
Somebody said, leave it where it is.
Nonsense, dear.
I heard it distinctly.
I never heard a sound.
It was you, Ruth. You're playing tricks.
I'm not doing anything of the sort. I haven't uttered.
Charles.
Ventriloquism. That's what it is, ventriloquism.
What is the matter with you?
One of you must have heard that.
Heard what?
I certainly didn't.
Neither did I. I wish I had. I would love to hear something.
You're acting to try to frighten us.
I'm not. I swear I'm not.
It's difficult to think of what to say after 7 years, but I suppose good evening is as good as anything else.
Who are you?
Elvira, of course. Don't be so silly.
Oh, I can't bear this for another minute. Get up, everybody. The entertainment's over.
He switches on the lights.
Oh, Charles, just when we were beginning to enjoy ourselves.
Oh dear! Look at Madame Arcady.
Oh, what are we to do with her?
Bring her round immediately.
But she might stay that way for hours.
Wake up, Madame Arcady. Wake up. Little Tommy Tucker, Madame Arcady. Wake up.
Well, that's that.
Are you all right?
Certainly I am. Never felt better in my life.
Would you like some more brandy?
So that's that funny smell. I really shan't sleep a wink tonight as it is.
I know I shan't.
Well, what happened? Was it satisfactory?
Nothing much happened, Madame Arcady, not after you went off.
Something happened, all right. I can feel it. Any apparitions?
Not a thing.
No ectoplasm?
I don't think so.
Very curious. I feel as though something important has happened here.
Charles pretended he heard a voice.
It was only a joke.
A very poor one. I think I must be on my way now. I have some Ovaltine already in the saucepan at home. It only needs hotting up. I'm fit as a fiddle. Always feel capital after a trance. It invigorates me, rejuvenates me. Good night, Eponine.
Oh, it was lovely and sweet of you to take all that trouble.
I'm sorry so little occurred. It's that cold of Daphne, I expect. I really must try again some other evening.
Oh, that would be lovely.
Good night, Mrs. Bradman.
Good night. It was thrilling. It really was. I absolutely felt the table shaking under my hands.
Yes. Good night, Doctor.
Congratulations, Mrs. O'Connor.
Good night, everyone. Next time we must really put our backs into it.
Curtain.
I will understand always, always.
There'll be a brief 10-minute intermission.